In this high-tech business, all right, and we'll be going into some depth about the challenges that Rex is facing in his business, so don't go away. Welcome back to It's My Biz, the big show for small business. And in this week's show, we're analyzing a nanotechnology purification equipment business called Ngikona Wholesale Holdings. With us in the BizBeam is the owner, Rex Smeller, and still with us, of course, our panel of biz whizzes, Francis Wright, Thane Niemand, and Mike Sage. Lots of opportunity in this business, so many avenues to follow up.
It's overwhelming in the beginning, understanding where you want to take your business. So my recommendation, Rex, is that you start off by writing a simple brand positioning statement. Top of the page, write the word to, and there describe your target market as best you can. Then the word seeking, and describe exactly what it is that they're looking for. Then we offer, and everything that you can offer them. And finally, a reason to believe. That'll be your brand positioning statement.
Rex, don't you have some idea of who you think you should be targeting and what you think you should be doing as a business?
Sometimes it's too difficult to concentrate on those issues until you find an advice on where to begin.
So how do we narrow things down, Mike?
Narrowing his target market, that's the first thing. I see three very specific target markets for your Rex. First of all are those hospitals, the provincial hospitals, the large hospitals, for your large product. Yes. Then you have a slightly smaller product for a domestic market, home office. And then finally, I see great opportunity for you in the retail, hospitality, restaurants with your nano spray.
This is a growth issue, isn't it?
Before Rex can start growing, he needs a specific growth plan. Document what you want, where you want to grow to. You can't just take one step and let things go where it flows. Make sure that you decide where you want to go, how big you want the company to be. Determine what the demand is before you start employing people according to what you think the demand is. Do your research, determine how much competition there is in the market, and then allocate resources accordingly.
Growth of this business, I believe, is very, very important, but the foundation of that growth is just as important, Rex. You need to go and see an accountant or an attorney to break your business, I believe, into three legal entities. You've already got the one which owns the patent. But what about creating a sales entity? What about creating a manufacturing entity? Because what you'll be doing by creating different entities is ring-fencing each entity from a legal protection point of view. So protect the one entity from the other in the event of there being a legal claim.
Doesn't this just make things more complicated for a small entrepreneur? Or are you thinking in terms of where this business is going then?
I'm thinking of where the business is going. Imagine if one of Rex's products falls on a patient in the hospital and creates a legal liability. That means, as it currently stands, the whole of Rex's business is under threat. But if he broke it into three sections, only the sales section might be under threat, and his manufacturing business and his license could not be attached in terms of any legal claim.
Key to his success in this area is obviously IT infrastructure, and I know you've got a small computer in your home at the moment, but that's not quite sufficient to record everything you need to be doing, is it though, Rex?
Yeah, that's true.
How does he start introducing IT infrastructure?
You know, cash flow is always a problem for small business owners and business owners in general. So what I did is I asked Rex to go to a computer and download free accounting software and appoint somebody, maybe his accountant or maybe a bookkeeper, which you can find by asking his local chamber of commerce or maybe one of your clients who they use. Get that person into your business on a regular basis to capture the invoices, to capture the expenses in your business so you can see what your cash flow is going to be doing. To avoid delays in getting paid, there are certain rules that I think one should apply. Number one, you should know what your client payment process is, so you can track your invoice through his system. Number two, Rex, you need to make sure that you know what the client wants on his invoice so that you can be paid. Maybe he wants the order number, maybe he wants an invoice number. Number three, your invoice must be professional. You know, an invoice written on a piece of paper with a pen, it hasn't got the same impact as a really well thought out document that is pre-printed. Also, cash flow can be improved by following up and sending your invoices out timelessly. So if your money is due on a certain date, you need to chase that money the next day if it's not in your account.
Part of the issue with the growth of this business, and something to think about, the complexity of what they do and communicating that effectively.
Rex, you have all these products with scientific and strong names. What you need to do is you need to come up with brand names for each of your products so that people can identify with them, ask for them, order them. That's where it goes. Same as on your website. If you go into your website, there's a lot of complicated terminology. All that needs to be simplified, put into layman's terms so everyone can understand them. I looked at your website, professionally built, beautiful, but there are some spelling mistakes, some grammatical errors, and that's the kind of thing you really want to avoid.
Let's talk about this terminology, though, Rex, because it really is complex stuff, but at the crux of this is such amazing technology. And I'm sure it's because you're around it all the time. It doesn't seem complex to you anymore, does it?
It's difficult if you try to explain to someone who first start to hear those words. So because you need to start to explain to the person maybe 5 to 10 minutes, then that's where the person will understand.
And in the world of PR, 5-10 minutes is 5-10 minutes too long sometimes, right, Mike?
What wonderful PR opportunities exist. I wouldn't rush in just yet. Get the processes right, get the systems right, and then open up the world of public relations to yourself.
I see Francis smiling because you always believe fools rush in, right?
Yes.
So capacity. He needs to build the capacity to the point where PR would actually build and not break his business.
This is such complicated and breakthrough technology that 2 or 3 articles in key publications and Rex will have a flurry of orders coming in, which he will not be able to fulfill on. So that could kill a business and it will break down the brand completely.
So what to do?
Before PR starts, it is important to lay out the facilities, get everything ready to produce. After you've done the research on how much demand there actually is, get ready to be able to fulfill that demand in a conservative manner, but the facilities need to be laid out. Everything needs to be ready to go.
I suppose this is the time to sort of go in there and sort of plan the workspace out, plan the office layout.
Yes, the flow of the factory must be correct, and this is a unique situation where it can be done right from the start. There's no re-engineering required. So you have to decide what the activities are, what are the materials required, what is the flow through the factory of the materials, and lay out the facility accordingly. Also, of course, don't forget the comfort of the workers. So the office infrastructure, the furniture, the equipment is really important in this case.
The same way you process your manufacturing of goods, you can also process your cash flow management and your debtor management. So, Rex, what I'd like you to do is write down step for step how you're going to collect your money and document it so that when someone new comes into your business, they can just pick up an instruction manual to collect your money, not only, as Francis says, to manufacture the product.
He has to be able to control his supplier base.
The first issue around the supply chain is that Rex imports some of the components. An exclusivity agreement with the suppliers will heighten the threat of entry to new competitors substantially. So negotiate with your international suppliers so that they cannot distribute in South Africa through anybody else. That will protect the business to a great deal. The second thing is, with local suppliers, don't be dependent on just one supplier. If something happens to that supplier, you're out of business. So get more suppliers and then do contracts with them, service level agreements, so that you know that they will supply you according to your timelines and according to your quality standards.
Lots of work to do, but I am sure you're the man to do it. Now, we all know that behind everything we do here on It's My Biz stand the amazing people who make things happen. I'm talking about Nedbank, and now it's time to hear some truly valuable entrepreneurial advice in our Nedbank Biz Tips, the weekly slot where Sibongiseni Ngunze of Nedbank passes on some real biz wisdom. But there's another reason that you really need to take a listen to this if you're an entrepreneur. That's right, it's because it's time for our competition.